Pardon me?
The pledge?
Oh, want to do the pledge now?
Before the swearing in?
Yeah.
Or you save it till 7?
Yeah, we'll stay till the, okay? Join me, Chief? Yeah. Good evening, everyone. This is always a pleasant time to swear in one of our IPD police officers that is on the Arundecoyt Police Force and is going to do law enforcement for a career, so we look forward to it. So I'm going to have Chief say a few words, and then we'll get on and we'll get the swearing in going. Yeah, sure. Nick, you got to come up, Nick. Sorry about that. Come on up. Yeah, it's all about you tonight, buddy, for the next 15 minutes.
Good evening. So this is a great opportunity for us. It's obviously been a little bit delayed, but Officer Nicholas Evershed was born and raised here in Arundecoyt and is a graduate of Eastridge High School. Upon his graduation, he went to MCC where he studied criminal justice and received an associate's degree in criminal justice. After that, Officer Evershed returned to his high school to become a security guard at the school and also become a part-time swim coach and lifeguard there. These are two small examples of Officer Evershed giving back to the community that he grew up in. And I can attest to the fact that over the last 2 years that he's been working here, he's been doing that each and every day. Officer Evershed began his career with the Arundecoyt Police Department in September of 2019 when he started the police academy at the Public Safety Training Center. Upon completion of the academy, Officer Evershed began his field training here at the IPD, which started right around the same time as the COVID pandemic. Kind of coincidental, just saying. But in all seriousness, Nick, you've been a great addition to the IPD, and we're happy to swear you in tonight. I know it's been a long time coming for your family, but I thought it was important that we were able to get everybody here for it because it's a exceptional opportunity. It's a big piece of your career and your livelihood, and I just want to say on behalf of myself, the captains, and all of us at the IPD, we're very, very proud of you and very excited for you to be a part of our team.
It's live TV, so don't worry about it.
All the siblings are here, so it's, okay, thank you.
Hey, Nicholas. Repeat after me. I, Nicholas Evershed, do solemnly swear that I will defend the Constitution of the United States and the state of New York. I will enforce all of the laws of the state of New York and the town of Arundecoyt. I will fulfill the duties of the rank of police officer to the best of my ability. I will serve, protect, and guide the citizens of the town of Arundecoyt. I will obey all orders, rules, and regulations of the town of the Arundecoyt Police Department. Congratulations. Very good. Good luck. Good luck. Be proud, man. Good. Yeah, not a problem. Now, I usually don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if Nicholas would like to say a few words, you're more than welcome, okay?
Just want to say thank you to the town board and Supervisor Perticone for having me tonight. I know with COVID it was pretty hard to get this together, along with Chief Laird. Thank you. My two captains. Thank you very much for putting this on. COVID did mess it up and should have been earlier, but I'm glad that we can all be together and share this time. I want to thank my family for being here tonight. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here right now. throughout school. Everyone knew I wanted to be a police officer. That was my dream, and my family really drive me to becoming that. So I really do appreciate that, and thank you very much to my family. Since I was in school, everyone that knew me, anyone, teachers, friends, they knew I wanted to be a police officer. That's what I wanted to do my whole entire life. Never second guessed it. That was my ultimate goal. And then a goal on top of that was to work for town of Irondequoit, where I've lived my whole entire life. So I remember that day when Chief Laird walked into Eastridge High School and told me to go back in the security office, and he told me I was hired, and that was one of the best days of my life. So just want to say thank you, and I'm happy to be serving this town.
Andrew, you want to get some pictures? Come on up, family too. Come on, Sherry. Come on up.
Yeah, put the camera in front.
Family in front, mom and dad right up there. Oh, we got the photographer going now.
Just hope I have enough memory.
Squeeze?
I can't see.
Can't see me.
Come on. Very good.
Okay, good. Smile with your eyes. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Okay? Congratulations. Congratulations.
Ellen.
Okay?
Ellen. Ellen.
Coming up next, live coverage of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT Government Access. Coming up next, live coverage of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT Government Access.
Regular town board meeting on this day of September 14th, 2021. Please, your visitors all invited to rise, and members rising to recite the Pledge of Allegiance with the town board. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilwoman Freeman.
Here.
Councilman Perdicone.
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Present and accounted
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
I just want to take a couple notes. We have a public hearing this evening. It'll start at 7:35. So there are two sign-up sheets there. There's public input, and then there's a sign-up sheet for the public hearing. So whichever you're here to do, we'll start the public hearing at 7:35. So I have a couple of notes that I'd like to say. I want to thank, first of all, we had a good ceremony for the 20 years of 9/11 on Saturday here at Town Hall campus. I want to thank the chief, the IPD, and all the first responders and EMTs that were here, and all community members that were there. And I want to give a shout out to Officer Lawton, who put it all together. It was 20 years. Wow. So I want to just do a shout out for that. It's very well run. I know putting those things together sometimes is challenging, but he did a very nice job. And the weather cooperated with us, and it was a very, very good, it's not a celebration, but at least we do it every year here on the Town Hall campus. And we are having on September 28th from 6 to 8, right here in the Broderick Room, we're having the community engagement session to talk about the back of the Town Hall. There's going to be some renderings there. We'll take some public input. So that is going to be September 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. right here in the Broderick Room. I have, before we get going here, I have a couple letters. Actually, it's a template that I want to put into the minutes before we do. We're going to do a couple of proclamations. So I just want to put these in there, and then we'll go on to our proclamations. But I got a couple of letters from a couple of town residents. It's a template letter, but I want to read it, and then I'll put it in the minutes, and we'll go from there. Dear Honorable, it says, Dear Honorable Seeley, as your constituent and your boss, I demand that you do everything in your power to ban vaccine mandates and passports. This is an unconstitutional deprivation of liberty without due process, and it is a critical issue to me. It is unconscionable that American freedom of movement will be threatened in an attempt to coerce people to get vaccinated, even as Anthony Fauci is urging masks to be worn by the vaccinated and unvaccinated. I'll be watching how you vote. So I just want to put those in the minutes for Barb to put it. And I'll give you a copy of these, Barb, okay?
Okay.
We have a couple of proclamations. I'll have the town board members come up and join me, and we'll do our proclamations. We'll start right now.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Is Jackie Gigliotta here? Come on up. You know I was going to ask you to come up, right? You weren't going to get away with it, right? Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Listen, Jackie, so you were on the board of the Cure for Childhood Cancer, obviously, right?
Yes.
So I can't think of a better organization than Childhood Cancer. And, you know, I'm certainly sure volunteering in that is people very appreciative of what you do. So the town board, we thought we'd do, I know it's Childhood Cancer Association, it's the month, right? for
Awareness
child-
month,
Yes.
yep.
So we're gonna have proclamation for you, and we'd like to, I'll recite everything here, and then we'll go on from there, okay? And then you can say a few words, okay? Whereas a great society is only as great as those organizations that perform service on behalf of their community, attendant to such concern in full accord with long-standing traditions, the town of Arundecoit is justly proud to acknowledge the contributions of such individuals and organizations, and whereas the Cure Childhood Cancer Association, a locally based organization dedicated to serving those children in our area who are diagnosed with cancer, as part of the mission, works to increase local awareness of the prevalence of childhood cancer. Whereas September is nationally or recognized month for the childhood cancer awareness, and whereas, as in all things, we, our community, strive to support and show compassion to one another, and hope that through our efforts, those who are facing the challenge of pediatric cancer know they are not alone. Therefore, let it be resolved that we, Acting Supervisor John Perticone and the Arundecoit Town Board, on behalf of the entire town of Arundecoit, join with others across our state and country in recognizing September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Congratulations, okay? Just a
I'm
little
Jackie
bit, yeah.
Gigliotta. I'm a resident here. I've lived here for 20 years with my husband and my kids, and I have two sons. They're 12 and 15, and my 12-year-old was diagnosed with cancer when he was 3, and he is healthy and strong, and running from school to soccer practice to lacrosse practice to all those things that as parents we hope our kids are able to do. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm very blessed. We are a very lucky family to have faced that and to be healthy and strong right now. So it's really important to me to raise awareness, especially during the month of September. So I appreciate the town recognizing Childhood Cancer Awareness Month to help people to know that there are, people in our own community that are faced with this every day. So thank you. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Would you be willing to take a picture of me?
Sure. You want to take one? Come on, take one.
I have a friend that
Oh, sure,
wants
okay.
to do a picture for me.
Sure, yeah, come on up. Absolutely.
You guys know all of it?
Yeah, we got to squeeze a little. Okay, very good.
Part of your shine. All right, awesome. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
I don't know if anybody was watching, but we have a little bit of a celebrity here in town. Come on, Brad, come on up. Hey?
Oh, you guys.
Now, I think Cheap Old House was last Monday. Was it the 13th?
Last the 6th.
Was it the
Labor Day, whatever
Labor Day, the 6th? Okay, I started watching it. I was one eye closed and one eye was open, but it's one of those programs that I'm certainly sure probably tens of thousands of people try to get on these programs, but they picked Brad for I think it was their last one of the year, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The last episode of the year. So we just want to make sure if there was he got some TV time. I know he got some newspaper, so if anybody saw it, Brad, he lives over at Winona Woods, so we wanted to make sure that Bradley got recognized, and he's on our planning board as well here in Arundequoit. So if anybody saw the episode, if you didn't, try to catch it up on TV and take a look at it. But it was good. You know what I mean?
I think I looked all right.
Yeah, you look good, Brad. You did a nice job. Now, yeah, I know you were. I know you probably. I would imagine if you come in your house, but so I think what was it? A 10-year project?
Yeah, 11 years.
11 years, huh? Geez, I'm doing one now, and man, I'll tell you, 11 years, I don't know if I can wait that long, but God bless you, that's good. So we just wanted to recognize Bradley and being in town here and being on a TV show, which is, like I said, I mean, they're all over the country, and they came to Arundequoit over to Winona Woods and took their time to come here and interview Brad. And Cheap Old Houses. Cheap Old Houses, yeah. So I want to read the proclamation. Whereas a great society is only as great those individuals perform service on behalf of their community, whether through unique achievements in professional or endeavors, or simply through a lifetime of good citizenship. Whereas attendant to such concern and in full accord with long-standing traditions, the town of Arundequoit is justly proud of acknowledging the contributions of such individuals. Whereas Mr. Bradley Huber, through much hard work and dedication, has lovingly restored the 1930s bungalow located in the town's Winona Woods neighborhood. Whereas after completion of this transformation, which preserved the home's original detail while still incorporating some modern touches, he has been the subject of a few renovation articles and most recently received national attention on HTV's program Cheap Old Houses. And whereas Brad has taken pride not only in the home, but in the Winona Woods neighborhood and has been a leader in the development of the Winona Woods Neighborhood Association and in creation of the other neighborhood associations throughout the town of Arundequoit, shining a positive light on our town as a whole. Therefore, be it resolved that we, Acting Supervisor John Perdicone and the Arundequoit Town Board, on behalf of the town of Arundequoit, congratulate and recognize Bradley Huber for his commitment to improving his neighborhood and the Arundequoit community. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it.
When I got here, I didn't know anything about Arundequoit, and I didn't know anybody here. I guess I would just say that this proclamation really is a representative of all of the people who supported me through this work and through the work in the neighborhood association. I had a little house, but a lot of big ideas. And whether it was street trees or neighborhood associations or restoration work, it wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for my neighbors who really cheered me on through that process, and staff and officials here at Town Hall who helped me with permitting, who helped me with allocation of street trees, and helped me set up these neighborhoods. So really, it's more about the community than it is about me, but thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, we'll start with public input. I have one person signed up. And if you just have public input, you're more than welcome to come up if you didn't sign up here. But Alex Worth, just state your name and your address, please.
Hi there.
Hi.
My name's Alex Worth. I'm an Arundecoit resident. I live on Ontario View Street. I'm a parent in the school district, a former Conservation Board member, and a current Somerville Neighborhood Association Board member. I made a bit of a last-minute request to the board for the workshop meeting to add 2 agenda items, and I realized that was probably a little bit unfair. So I wanted to come back tonight and ask for those things in a more official manner. One of which was to pursue a request for proposal for town-wide single-source refuse collection. I know that the town had pursued this, I think, last year, and COVID had kind of knocked it off track a bit, but the overall purpose was to gather together districts who would then solicit refuse companies. But I was hoping that we could at least pursue a different approach and maybe simplify things by doing a town-wide refuse pickup, and just understanding what those numbers are going to look like. So if we could ask the companies for pricing, we could then kind of re-engage the public and ask them if they think it might be a good idea to pursue or not. The second agenda item that I'd like to hopefully add to the October workshop agenda is the American Rescue Plan Act funding committee that we had talked about, that the town board had discussed a couple of months ago. I think it was proposed that a steering committee be formed that would entail department heads, board members, and community experts, and they would come up with a plan in order to steer that $23 million, that once-in-a-lifetime federal funding that we're going to be receiving as a town, in order to really coherently and efficiently and fairly make sure that that money is spent in a wise manner. So those are the 2 items for the October workshop meeting that I'd love to be added to the agenda. And then secondly, there were a couple of folks who asked me through the neighborhood association some questions that I couldn't necessarily answer. And in the past, Alex Abolito, he was the constituent liaison for Arundecoit, and he was wonderful. He would always be very responsive and helpful. And I know that he's no longer with the town, but I was hoping that during the interim, until we hire someone else, that there might be someone else that's identified in the town that could handle those responsibilities until we have another person hired. And I know you can't answer now because it's just public input, but I wanted to put that out there for the board to discuss. And that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, anybody else public input? Because I have sure, come on up. That's okay, just state your name and your address, okay?
Christina Fodor.
Can you just pull the microphone?
Yeah, just pull the mic a little bit.
A little closer, but the public can't hear.
There you go.
Christina Fodor at 109 Wellsford Road.
Okay.
We have recently found out that we are getting a 34-foot wireless cell tower in our neighborhood. And we're kind of representing a large group of people that are opposing this. We didn't get any public notice, no letters. We have a lot of people that walk dogs and people themselves. We have sidewalks. They come from, I guess, in a loop, the next neighboring streets. We're a little concerned about this. They're showing up. They're going to be on utility poles. There isn't a utility pole currently, so why not put it where there's a pole existing? So some health concerns about this new 5G technology is unknown. So we just wanted to get this on the board. I guess there's no application for it, but there's Lafayette, Cascade Place, and Orland roads that have this starting up. So we don't know if they are in agreement or not. What are our rights? My neighbor Mary here has been at her house for 40 years. I've been at mine for 20. We have some neighbors here that's been here, I think, 35, 40, 17, and 16. So there's a bunch more that couldn't make it tonight. I know there's no real agenda, but we wanted to kind of put this on the minutes,
Okay, sure.
get it up for discussion if possible.
We're learning, first experience that we've had with something in the right-of-way I know this is new technology, and I had learned today, Carrie Aries was very helpful in giving me more information. We hope to get more.
Okay.
I would like
Bless
to
you.
reach out to the cell company and talk to them. Why can we work with something better, or, because I understand you don't have as much power as we were hoping, but we're starting to learn the process. I've talked to several of your workers, Michelle and Ann. They've been very helpful, but I'm hoping to learn more before I think we're going to come to the next, the 27th, is it?
All the utilities are in the back, so we don't know why it's going in the front.
Okay, so it's the location of the tower that's concerning?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in what we've seen, Orland got it, and yeah, it definitely is making us very unhappy that it would
Okay,
happen
so
on our
the-
street. I feel bad for them.
We're talking about a cell tower or one of the 5G items that are being mounted on telephone poles?
Yeah. Is it?
Yes,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's a new pole.
It's a new pole and
Pole right now. So we
there's
don't
no
know-
pole there. Okay,
Right, so why not put it on an existing?
okay.
Less money to dig and things like that. Just, like, I don't know, by living so close to it, what's gonna happen to me in 10 years? I don't know, you know, the microwaves or whatever it entails.
Okay.
Nobody knows.
Okay. Carrie, when they put the cell, there's a certain, obviously, location of these, right, on the,
Yeah,
so
so
some
this
need
is-
poles
so
and
it-
some don't?
Yeah, we have a small cell telecommunications regulations in our town code, in the zoning code, chapter 235. And there are provisions by which the replacement poles at existing locations can happen administratively, because the pole is there and exists, as long as it doesn't exceed certain thresholds with respect to height. And so if in instances where there's a new pole, my understanding is at this location, there actually is no construction happening, that there was just markings. Yeah, so no construction's taking place, no pole is being installed at this location. We don't currently have an application on file. That a new location for a new pole where a pole doesn't exist would be subject to planning board review. However, the planning board's purview is limited by the FCC regulations that govern what towns can and cannot control as far as the installation of cellular facilities, because they are deemed a utility and governed by the Public Service Commission. And if I've named the wrong commission, Andrew Dean, our esteemed attorney, will jump in and correct me.
But just let me clarify, it's the Federal Communications Commission, and
Oh, thank
the
you.
United States Congress enacted a statute saying that local governments, as long as a cell tower meets the radio frequency emission requirements of federal law, local governments can't consider the health effects of 5G wireless when they make these types of determinations. So you might appreciate that the United States Congress, under the Constitution's Supremacy Clause, trumps local governments in these types of matters. So the town, unfortunately, is bound not to determine whether 5G wireless has negative health effects.
Is there a profit that you guys are getting, or money to have these?
There is a microcell agreement with, I think it's Verizon Wireless. Is that the one that you're referring to?
Well, Carrie wasn't sure. I guess there's a
Yeah.
few companies that have come to the town, and they are popping up.
To clarify, I said that Verizon wasn't the only one that could potentially come to the town. I don't know if there are any other locations that are not Verizon.
Oh, okay.
That's right. My understanding, though, is if a new pole is being put up, the applicant has to submit a site plan application to the planning board. There'd be a hearing. There'd be a abundant opportunity for residents to express their concerns about location.
We're here early.
Well, it doesn't sound like there's an application yet, but if there is an application,
We were concerned, and some of our neighbors were coming forth saying, well, they've already put the markings for the other utilities there, and the stake is there. In my past, whenever I wanted a tree taken down or anything, once they mark it, that means something's happening.
Usually call before you dig, 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Okay,
Right,
Carrie,
ahead.
but there is a
So what I would suggest is the town will be monitoring the location. If they wouldn't be permitted to construct anything without going through the proper review processes and obtaining the permit that they need. Even after the planning board reviews it, they still have to come to the town for permitting. So that, none of that has happened. And it's possible that somebody called for a stakeout location at the wrong location. Because so that may just be an instance of it being a mistake or an error. And so, well, we're happy to follow up. Bob Kiley, the Commissioner of Public Works, and I are the ones who manage the permitting process for these, and I oversee the application process through the planning board. Happy to follow up with you offline to answer any questions.
Great.
Okay?
Awesome.
All right, good. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Anyone else for public input? Okay. Okay, financial report, Diana?
No, thank you. The August 31st financial results for the town. Total expenses are $24,086,000, or 63.5% of budget, which is lower than the 66.7% of the year that has elapsed. Total expenses break down as follows. Actual expenses, $21,121,000, encumbrances, $2,965,000. The encumbrances are 7.8% of budget, as departments are continuing to commit to services and supplies for the remainder of the year. General fund expenses are favorable to budget at 63.1%, or $14,682,000. The split here is actual expenditures, $13,226,000, and encumbered expenses, $1,456,000. Incorporated within the general fund encumbrances are information technology projects and services, 2021 projected but unexpended energy costs of the general fund street lighting account, installment purchase debt for equipment leased by solid waste, and other contracted expenses throughout the town. Jointly, the highway fund's expenses are greater than the percent of the year that has elapsed at 69.3%, or $3,926,000. These costs are traditionally driven by salt, gas, fuel, roadwork and paving services, and materials such as oil and stoning and asphalt. Highway 1 is currently realizing sizable roadwork and paving expenditures, as well as paving material encumbrances. Expenditures in the library fund are 63.4% of budget at $1,677,000. Sewer fund expenses of $2,595,000 equate to 62.4% of budget. Expenses in the stormwater drainage total $443,000, or 47.4% of budget. We continue to emphasize that the expenses excluding encumbrances for the town, as well as the three major funds, are less than the percent of the year that has elapsed. 66.7% of the year has elapsed, and the expenditures percentage exclusive of encumbrances for the town is 55.6%. The general fund is 56.9%. Sewer is 58.2%, and the collective highway funds 49.6%. Total general fund revenue is $17,808,000, or 79.3% of budget. Real estate taxes of $11,800,000 have been received. Payments in lieu of taxes equate to 91.7% of budget, $244,000, with an additional $25,000 due in September to make this item whole. The first quarter mortgage tax of $271,000 is in at 30.2% of budget. Second quarter sales tax receipts of $1,675,000 were received in August, bringing the 5-month receipt total to $2,572,000, or 54% of budget. Other major revenue items, such as aid and incentives for municipalities, franchise cable TV revenue, and the remaining 3/4 of mortgage tax, are not yet due. Regarding the entire town, $30,687,000, or 83.1% of revenue and appropriated fund balance have been received to date. At the end of August, the library has received $2,597,000, or 98.2% of its budgeted revenue. 82.1% of budget, or $4,576,000, has been received in the consolidated highway funds. Revenue received in the sewer fund is $4,067,000, or 99.7% of budget. Stormwater drainage has recorded $867,000, or 97.4% of budget. In addition, American Rescue Funds of $11,227,000 have been received in May. The use of this funding is restricted for the response to and relief of COVID-19 and can be used to cover costs incurred through December 31st, 2024. A special revenue fund has been established to account for these funds. This concludes the financial report for the month of August 2021.
Motion to accept the financial report.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, so carried.
Approval of minutes, August 10, 2021, the workshop meeting.
Motion to approve?
I have an amendment.
Pardon me?
I want to make a motion
Amendment?
for an amendment.
This is the August 17th, right?
August
Or
10th.
August 10th, I'm sorry, August 10th, okay.
So do I need to make a motion?
Yep.
Or I make a motion that the minutes for the town board workshop for Tuesday, August 10th be amended
What's the amendment?
and
What's the amendment?
reflect as follow. Two reasons. One, the statement that residents have submitted FOIA requests regarding iCare for said information that was listed in section 136, which is page 12, the last page, is not in the current minutes. And also, a second statement, my response to these questions presented by iCare Commission were, and where I said were both asked and answered during the presentation on iCare held at the town board workshop meeting dated Tuesday, June 10th, 2021, is also not included in the current minutes. So I would like those included.
Okay. I need a So we need a motion to,
I made the motion.
We have a motion.
Do we have a
motion.
motion? Do we have a second?
yeah, we have a second?
No?
No, I don't mind seconding, but I'm just questioning, so, this is the first time I've seen this occur.
Correct.
And does it get, I mean, generally we review minutes in writing, does it get written and then we re-review them, or we're accepting them immediately at this point?
It might be a good idea to table the minutes.
For August 10th?
Yeah, have them be revised, and then we just adopt them for next. meeting.
Okay.
We don't have to adopt them now.
I mean, I'm fine with what was said, I'd just like to see it in writing, then
Yeah.
we review the minutes as it's,
Yeah.
whatever the word correct, memorialized, correct?
Yeah, and, to get an accurate set of minutes, we can just circulate a red line and
Yeah.
take it up at the
All right,
workshop.
so we'll make a motion to table these minutes until next meeting when it's in writing.
That's
Right.
fine with me, I just feel like
Okay,
That's fine. I'll make a motion.
okay, I got a
generally
motion.
review minutes in writing
I got
rather
it.
than oral,
I agree with Peter. I want it in writing.
Right in, okay.
like I said, I have no
All right,
issue with it.
so I have a motion, I need a second
Second.
to table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
August 17, 2021, the regular town board meeting.
Motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
So, yeah, Kimmy has to abstain, she wasn't
She
here.
wasn't there.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Okay. Items for board action. Item number 2, authorizing the appointment of a part-time cleaner.
Motion?
Moved.
I have a second.
Second.
This action here, this resolution is hiring a part-time cleaner. Kevin McCoy will fill our need for a part-time evening cleaner at the library. He was interviewed and recommended hired by Aaron McGee. He will be $15 an hour and 20 hours per week. His time will be from 5 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. I got a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 3, authorizing the appointment of various part-time employees for the Arundecoit Community Center.
I have a motion.
Are we gonna let the rec director talk about it?
Pardon me? Yeah, I'll get it up, yeah. These are, I have a second. A second?
I didn't hear a second. I had a
didn't
motion
hear-
by Peter.
So, I'll second.
You second it? Okay. So these are part-time, Katrina's rounding out her part-time staff in preparation for the opening of the Arundecoit Community Center. Each of these positions represents about a quarter of budgeted both in the 2021 and 22 budget. So Katrina, you want to explain, and then if there's any questions, okay?
Sure, yes, Mr. Supervisor. So these positions are for front desk staff, fitness center staff, and building manager position. They're all individuals that are just looking to work part-time, and they'll vary between 10 and 20 hours a week. We have positions Sunday to Saturday, so the hours will vary, and the positions and times that they work will vary as well.
Okay, any questions for Katrina? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 4, authorizing the reappointment of Ethics Committee members.
Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Resolution is adopted.
Item number 5, authorizing the appointment of a planning board member to the town planning board.
Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Carrie, you want to explain?
Yes, thank you. Due to a recent vacancy on the planning board, I'm recommending that we elevate our alternate, Jacqueline Murray, to serve as a permanent planning board member. She'd be filling or continue or completing the term that Michael Palermo, who stepped down from the board, and his term would expire at the end of this year. And so we'll be hopefully revisiting Jacqueline's appointment for 2022, the start of 2022.
I want to just put a shout. Mike Palermo was on the planning board he's put a lot of time and energy into our planning for quite some time. So he will be missed.
Absolutely.
He was a very asset to our planning board for many years. So I want to thank him for his volunteering all these years on the planning board. So I got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
It is now 7:35.
Okay, we will open up the public hearing. Now, Carrie, before we get going on the public hearing, I have a list of folks that want to talk. Can you just give us an update, obviously, what our responsibility is, and maybe like where the process is with the planning board as well, okay?
Sure, happy to do that. So just as a reminder, we're here tonight at the town board for a special use permit associated with the gasoline pumps as part of the project. That's the only aspect that requires a special use permit. And that just means it's a permitted use, and it has the extra step of coming to the town board to contemplate whether that use has any reasonable conditions that should be imposed as part of that operation or that particular use. In this case, the gas pumps. The project obviously also includes a convenience store. That retail store is not subject to town board approval. That's allowed by right. And the only approvals that are needed for that portion of the project would just be a basic site plan approval, which the project is currently underway. Because of the, normally at a town board meeting, we would have already had a workshop prior to this, but because of the holiday this month, workshop is scheduled for next Monday, and the following Monday is the public hearing for the site plan. And so the application's still under review for site plan. It's my understanding that the applicant will come back and be discussing thoughts and ideas that have been raised in the previous planning board meeting, which was held this past month.
Okay, so we left the public hearing open from last meeting.
Yes.
So should we have the applicant come up?
That's certainly up to the applicant, if the
Would you
applicant
like
wants
come
to
up and
share.
speak? Sure, and then we'll start with the public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Christian Bernal, Vice President with Burn Dairy / Sunburn Sales, Inc. I've explained to you back in the last meeting, I'm sorry.
Oh, you know what, excuse me, Christian, there's a handheld mic there, we're having
hear
some
me?
technical difficulties with the
Okay.
stationary one. Thank you for using that.
Good evening, my name is Christian Bernal, Vice President with Burn Dairy / Sunburn Sales, Inc. I explained to the board the difference between Sunburn Sales and Burn Dairy. Sunburn Sales really is the operating company of the Burn Dairy store. Back in front of you tonight, I have some new information that I want to get to the board. This was also sent to some individuals yesterday. I just wanted to review the packet I just handed out quickly. This was an email that was sent to Michelle Nichols yesterday at 4:38 p.m. I'm just going to go through it all. It was spoken about at the planning board meeting as well, okay, at the public hearing there. Erin Brown from my company was there. I could not attend that night, but she explained what I'm going to talk about real quick here in this first page. Essentially, there seemed to be a theme among people in the area. Two of those themes seem to be property values and traffic issues, concerns. So that what I did is in this package, I addressed them in writing, and I'll make sure they get a part of the record. In that being said, Erin had called the town assessor, Amy Jorstad, on August 18th, looking in regards to property values for similar uses. She found that the 7-Eleven on Titus and Buckhart, she looked up the assessed values. It was built in 2000, and you can see on the front page, there was actually no decrease in property values. It's a very, very similar use, being a convenience store with pumps. You can actually look at the assessed values that increased. Okay, so the property values were not affected, and that's the most recent store that we could see, and it's, I believe, very, very similar in regards to the whole setting. Okay, so again, that was submitted yesterday. The second page was submitted as well. This is from CNY Pomeroy Appraisals, Inc., a professional appraisal company in Central New York. You guys have the letter. It was addressed to the supervisor. I just wanted to read the summary. Again, I would like to have this entered into the record, but the summary for everyone to hear, I really want the neighbors and people in the area to hear this report. Okay. The summary, and this is Central New York Pomeroy Appraisers. This is what they do for a living, is they appraise properties throughout New York State. It is our belief that the presence of a Burn Dairy deli store would enhance the commercial services in the area without any negative effect on the residential values in the Ridgewood, Worthington neighborhood. The presence of fueling facilities has demonstrated no significant impact on surrounding property values. From our experience, with the implementation of proper site design, the new development would improve the aesthetic characteristic of the area. A Burn Dairy and Deli would be an asset to the community and a good neighbor to both the commercial and residential property owners. That is signed by, again, CNY Pomeroy Appraisers, Senior Appraiser Lawrence Shunk. Okay, and he gave a brief summary of the project on the first page, basically just reiterating what I went over last time in regards to the square footage of it, curb cuts and whatnot, the area. Okay, so those two things I think I've addressed the property values. In regards to traffic, I spoke about this last time. We did have a traffic impact study done on July 16th by GTS Consulting, who was a professional traffic engineer. I read the conclusion. What I did is I copied the conclusion for the board members tonight, and I'm going to read the conclusion out loud again, just a piece of it. Conclusion. The additional traffic generated by the proposed Burn Dairy development will have no notable or significant impact on traffic operations on East Ridge Road or Ridgewood Drive. There are no mitigating measures recommended. Okay, so you already had this information. The planning board has the information as well. Since the last board meeting, a letter was sent to Mrs. Carrie Ivers, the Director of Community Development for your town. I'm going to read that as well, and that's part of in here. Dear Miss Ivers, and this is the Monroe County Department of Transportation. They have the authority for permitting driveways on East Ridge as it's a county road. That's where I gotta get a permit from, okay? They also generally have say next to property or roads that come into their intersection as well. So they oversee pretty much a lot of projects I work on in Monroe County. Dear Ms. Ivers, we have completed our review of the traffic impact study for the above referenced project and offer the following comments and recommendations. Again, Monroe County DOT reviewed my professional engineer's traffic study. Number one, we concur with the consultant that the proposed development will not have any significant impact on the adjacent roadway network from a traffic standpoint. So he has agreed with. Number two, the development proposes a new access out to Ridgewood Drive, which is a residential neighborhood, town road. While we understand that the neighborhood is likely not in favor of this access, it is not proposed opposite any residential drives, and thus its impact is minimal. In addition, I believe the access is needed to facilitate fueling trucks accessing the fuel storage tanks. That is signed by Mr. Brent Penwarden III, professional traffic engineer, chief of traffic operations and permits for Monroe County DOT. Okay. So that's the two, again, that seemed to be the biggest concerns that was at the town board meeting, and Aaron assured me that was many of the same concerns that were at the planning board as well. And in regards to the hours of operation, it seemed to be discussed as well. Burn Dairy, Sunburn Sales, call us what you want, is willing to restrict the hours of deliveries at this location. Okay, we have done this in areas in the past at stores. We don't like to do it, but we understand, it's a mitigation that we could live with. I was thinking, I've done it in the past, no deliveries between 7 p.m. at night and 7 a.m. in the morning. That would be for any sort of large vehicles, tractor trailers, straight trucks, anything like that, larger than a pickup truck. So that means there would not be any sort of deliveries. It would also include trash pickup. I know that was mentioned as well. We could restrict that. And again, I would propose to the board that we're willing to do that. I could put that in writing as well, or we can put it on record. Again, I would restrict 7 p.m. at night. They would stop, and 7 a.m. in the morning. Okay, we can make everything happen during the daytime. Burn Dairy is excited to come to the town of Irondequoit. As you know, we own the property, which is kind of unique for us at this situation. It's just the way it ended up. Burn Dairy just wants to be put on the same playing field as our competitors. Okay, right now, we consider our competitors. There's 5 convenience stores in the town of Irondequoit that are open 24 hours. Okay. The most recent one has not been built yet, is the Quick Lee's. This town board on July 20th approved a special permit for a very, very similar setting type project, convenience store with fuel for 24 hours. Okay, very, very similar setting. That was approved on July 20th. That is a direct competitor, 0.7 miles from this site. I don't believe they started construction, but I believe they're going to soon. Again, we want an equal player. We can't give them a competitive advantage, for us to be successful. Also, we have the A+, which is 0.1 miles away, basically across the street, which is 24 hours as well. So I would hope the board would take that consideration. What the precedent has been set, recently, within a few weeks ago. And that's about the new additional information. I can entertain any questions, or we can move on.
Any questions for Christian right now from the town board?
No questions.
Christian, just one. Now, when you talk about operations of deliveries, you're talking gas, anything that's in the store?
Gas, groceries.
Okay.
I told you we run our own warehouse, so groceries is pretty simple for me. Potato chips, anything, say a propane tank they want to deliver. I'm just throwing things out there. Ice.
Okay.
We could have that. And we have done this a few times, and I'm willing, and our vendors are pretty good about that. They're going to do what we tell them. And
okay,
we can restrict them.
All right, very good. Any questions? Okay,
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, before we start public hearing, I want to try to keep it to about 5 minutes. And the only thing, keep your comments, because the only thing the town board's going to be responsible, or our jurisdiction is going to be the fuel pumps. So, but we know there's still a planning board process still going on with the site. So, anybody wants to come up, you're more than welcome. I have a list here, and Just keep your comments, so try to keep them to 5 minutes, and then we'll have the applicant come up after everyone comes in with the public input. So the first one here is Lauren Sharp. And just state your name and your address, please.
Hi, I'm Lauren, and I'm terrified talking in public.
That's okay.
So. I live at 39 Ridgewood Drive, so that's actually 4 houses down from the Walgreens and almost directly across the street. Can I just ask all of you, and Christian actually, are any of you parents? Raise your hand.
I have 4 boys.
So, this is Imogen. She's 3. This is Sully. He's now 1 and a pandemic baby that I'm very proud of. They love playing outside, and they're very into pulling their wagon. I'm currently trying to teach her how to ride her tricycle. It's not going very well, but we're still out there trying. I'm very concerned not only about the increase in traffic. I obviously never leave them outside alone, but a mom can only do so much. I also am worried about gas pumps and fuel. Both of them have asthma. Having a gas station directly across the street from my house is not going to be a healthy environment for them to be in. And I'd like to know, on top of any study that they can do, I don't know if they can necessarily fight additional fumes that close to my children being outside. How is the town supposed to keep my kids safe? Am I not supposed to let them outside anymore? That was the main thing that I wanted to kind of address, is that you have, I know when I moved into the house 7 years ago, it was the library, and I understood that that wasn't necessarily always going to be there. But from a family residential area, I think there's a really big difference between a library and a 24-hour gas station. I really actually appreciate knowing that deliveries would be cut off at a certain point, because I missed bedtime tonight so that I could be here tonight to talk to you all about this. But there's still going to be noises then when you have the actual store and people allowed to pump gas well into the evening. Is he going to come and help put my kids back to bed? I mean, I live on a residential street, or I thought I did at least. Those are the main things, just coming from a mom.
Okay, Christian, thank you. Next, Anna? Is it Zangli? Zangi, yeah. Good. Well, you'll say it better than I will. And please state your name and your address. You have something to hand out? Okay.
Copies of the petition that we,
Okay.
been signed by 52 of our neighbors.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. After the last board meeting, some of the neighbors got together and we put together this list of our major concerns about the burned dairy going in. Number 1 is the traffic. I understand that what he said about his traffic study, but it was conducted on July 8th, 2021, which we feel is not accurate, because Eastridge High School was not in session, and commuting to work has stopped for many due to the COVID pandemic. Under normal circumstances, this corner receives high volume of traffic, especially during the morning and evening rush hour, and in the afternoon when the children are dismissed from school. The proposed burned dairy will add to the traffic congestion and cause it to funnel into our neighborhood. Our second concern is pedestrian safety and quality of life. Our subdivision experiences a steady stream of foot traffic from Eastridge High School students, middle school bus stops, dog walkers, exercisers, and the like. Increased traffic will reduce the quality of life and endangers those pedestrians. Noise. The proposed business will generate a high volume of noise that will echo throughout our neighborhood and increase traffic,
increased traffic, car doors being opened and closed, loud music from car stereos, heating and air conditioning systems, supply delivery trucks, fuel trucks, snow plowing, and general maintenance equipment. Pollution, building lights, headlights from patrons, litter, poor air quality, possible soil and water contamination. Decline in property value. It'll be experienced throughout the whole neighborhood, but especially for those who share the property line with Burned Dairy, will suffer the greatest loss. Those houses, there's 5 of them, and they're like on less than a quarter acre plots with a 30-foot setback. So basically those gas pumps are going to be in their backyard. Hours of operations, we are strongly opposed to the 24/7 operation, and it's my understanding from the last meeting that was going to be the board's decision as to the hours of operation in addition to the special use permit. Is that correct?
Yeah, that'll be talked about, if, we approve or don't approve the special use permit, hours of operation definitely will come
Okay.
into play.
And he mentions Bocart, the 7-Eleven on that corner, and they're only open from 6 to 11. And I think the situation there is quite different from ours. There are 2 houses that are next to, one on Bocart and one on Titus Avenue, but they're set back and they're not right next to the pumps. And then the crime. The convenience stores are known for the high rate of robberies and other crimes, including carjacking. So we are very much opposed to having Burned Dairy build a convenience store and a gas station at that location.
Okay, thank you. I know it's hard not to discuss everything that's going on that site, but we are, like I said, our jurisdiction is the fuel pumps. And Anna, thank you. You didn't mention the issues with the fuel pumps. Pardon me?
I think most of these are directly related.
Yeah. I just want to reiterate, that's what's in front of us now. And I know traffic, obviously everybody has concerns with traffic and that type of thing. So I just want to reiterate that and thank you for your comments. Next up is Jared. Jobson? Okay, very good. Just state your name and your address. Thank you.
My name is Jared Jobson. I live at 37 Abington Road, which is directly behind. It's a property that is right behind the library right now. So far, I've lived there for almost 13 years. I put a lot of time and effort into the house. It wasn't taken care of before I had it. So between already dealing with everything with Wegmans, Anna mentioned crime, that's actually a thing. So everybody can claim that crime, it's not a big deal, whatever. I've actually had IPD come to my house because they saw that I have cameras on my house. I didn't put cameras on my house because I'm just scared. I put cameras on my house because there are a lot of pedestrians and cut-throughs right between the public library property and Wegmans property. Having the police knock on your door when you didn't do anything wrong is kind of concerning. You don't know really what's going on. And then having them ask you for footage so that they can, try to catch whoever's doing whatever. It was kind of a little nerve-wracking. I spent a lot of time researching, watching video, hours and hours and hours of video to try to get that to the police department and the detective. That's not really something that I'm interested in doing all the time. They pretty much know to come right to my house and ask me for whatever I can give them, which I'm happy to do, but that's kind of a burden on me, right? So it's really difficult to not stand up and say the convenience, capitalism, I get it. We all want to make money. I understand that, but there has to be some kind of restriction on either hours of operation or gas pumps. Anna's right with how many gas pumps, how much fumes in the air, all that kind of stuff should really be taken into consideration. It's kind of frustrating, so I'm just trying to keep it as low key as I can. But I'm sure they heard my dogs today when they showed up to walk the property quickly. That's also something else that's going to be a major concern. I know it's not on the docket, but I won't really be able to be here for the next couple of Mondays. I've got other obligations. So just wanted to say that there needs to be some kind of more sound deadening barrier put up, because my dogs go absolutely nuts when, that's another reason why I had to get the dogs, so that they could keep the riffraff out, which there have been a lot. Arundecoit knows well enough what goes on behind the public library when nobody's there. They sit in the parking lot to make sure that things don't happen there. So that's all I really have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you.
Could Carrie just clarify the hours of operation? I think that you maybe made a broader statement than what.
Yeah, well,
So the hours of, in considering the special use permit, the town board has the authority to impose reasonable conditions. So when it comes to gas pumps, those reasonable conditions could include hours of operation. And Andrew, and certainly you can jump in to either clarify that or to, I'm not sure what other reasonable conditions might be related to a gas pump.
Not as it relates to the convenience store.
Not as it relates to the convenience store, correct. The convenience store is allowed by right, and there are no regulations that this board can impose with respect to the hours of operation of the convenience store.
Yeah, I think what Carrie's referring to is this is a Class C business district where convenience stores, like she just said, are allowed as a matter of right. The use that requires a special use permit is the gasoline service station.
I just felt like it might have been construed that we could control the operation from a time standpoint of the convenience store, but that's not.
okay, all right. Okay, it's just a gas. Okay. Mary Jo Sandy?
Hi, I'm Mary Jo Sandy.
Your address too, please.
Pardon?
Just for the record, for
46
your address.
Abington Road.
Okay.
I really put my name down not knowing I was going to speak, but
Okay.
I'll speak anyways,
Yeah, okay.
I guess. The problem is, it's a neighborhood, it's a neighborhood street, and what's going to happen, and I didn't even know there's going to be these big trucks coming down too, so that's even a bigger problem. What's going to happen is people are going to, and like they said, it's very hard to get sometimes on Ridge Road. And they're going to be all lined up on Ridge, turning in people's neighbors and driveways. And our section goes all the way around. So you can go all the way around to Worthington. So they're going to be coming down all of our streets. And then you're going to go to Worthington to Culver. And now when Wegmans came, they had an understanding that they were not to access any of our neighborhood, which they did do that. And they're a pretty good neighbor, and everything done is on Ridge Road. And there's a lot of kids around, there's school kids around, and as for the traffic study, as Anna said, they're doing it in July. School's not in session. There's buses for the school children. Also, with the COVID, a lot of people aren't going to work. And it's going to be horrendous. There's no reason for any gas station, especially because we got gas station across the street, and it's just not. That's a neighborhood. Can't do that to a neighborhood, and they got kids and everything else. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Robin Winters?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Robin Winters, 63 Ridgewood Drive. I've lived there for 36 years, and it's a nice, quiet neighborhood, and I'd like to keep it nice and quiet. I have listened to some of the recordings from previous planning board meetings, and I just want to share a few comments that I have highlighted from those discussions from the July and August planning board meetings. And there was no public input at those. So as far as I know, what I heard is accurate, and I just want to make some comments. On the July 26th town planning board meeting, there was a negative referral 5-1 on a 24-hour use gas station with considerations: location to residential neighborhood and a curb cut into a residential street. I assume the board has not made a decision on that yet. There are 5 24/7 gas stations in Arundecoit with another one opening. These are comments from the recordings I listened to. And this is the board, the planning board asking, how many do we need? A board member even asked, does the town need a gas station on every corner? In discussing the parcel at 2180 East Ridge Road, the planning board commented, it may make sense on some parcel to be 24/7 and others it should not. There is already a 24/7 gas station on the corner of Ridge and Culver. There was discussion about a home that exists behind the premise on Culver Road. And they were comparing it to our neighborhood. Those owners chose to live on a 4-lane highway at a busy intersection next to a 24 gas station. We have none of that in our neighborhood. There's no comparison to putting a 24/7 gas station at the corner of Ridge and Ridgewood Drive with a curb cut into a residential neighborhood. There was discussion about Department of Public Works using that corner for a bit. The question was asked, was it disruptive to the neighborhood? No, it was not. The town put up the current chain link fencing around the property. They even added a black cloth around the fencing to shield the neighbors. The only entrance was from Ridge Road. They did not use Ridgewood Drive. They only operated during daytime hours. No additional lighting was added. There were no dumpsters added for trash. There was a comment made at a planning board meeting that the residents should know it's possible that something like this could come to a major corridor. If you moved into the area when there was an operating library there, how would we ever know that that would go away someday? 2 board members brought out, people congregate at 24-hour gas stations, and the police said generally there are issues with 24/7 places. 124 gas station on Ridge Road does not allow entry into the convenience store all hours due to safety concerns. So those were just some things that I want to highlight from those meetings. I stand with all my neighbors and oppose to having a curb cut added with a 24/7 gas station. The intersection of Ridgewood Drive and East Ridge Road is a congested area as is. It will not be able to handle an additional 85 to 105 cars an hour at peak times. I exit and enter from Ridgewood Drive at various times throughout the day. I have a whole list of issues as far as being able to turn left out of that off from Ridgewood Drive. If you've got the light red at Culver, the cars are backed up to Ridgewood Drive and beyond. The drivers do not obey don't block side road. It means nothing. Delays turning left onto Ridge Road. If the light has just turned green at the main exit from the Culver Plaza, you're going to sit there and wait for the whole plaza to empty. And then once the plaza has emptied and the light is now red for them and green for everybody that's backed up coming out of the Wegmans and from there, you're going to wait again to turn left to get off Ridgewood Drive. Delays turning left onto Ridgewood during a major holiday is also an issue because the cars are backed up waiting already to get into Wegmans. Delays turning left or right, if the plaza traffic is emptying and the East Ridge Road lights on Culver Road are against you, you've got more delays. Delays getting off Ridgewood Drive if school has just let out. East Ridge Road is lined with school buses. And in addition to East Arundecoit owning their own schools and the school being let out, First Student also maintains a bus lot behind the school. So there's another whole fleet of school buses that come and go down Ridge Road. I hope you see the flaw in the timing of this traffic study. Drivers exiting Ridgewood Plaza across from Walgreens are constantly doing a U-turn in front of Ridgewood Drive, even though it says no U-turn. This increased considerably once the liquor store opened in the plaza. When I am traveling east on Ridgewood Road and I need to turn left onto Ridgewood Drive to get onto my street, it is very dangerous and congested to make that left-hand turn to get onto my street. You can expect to wait and turn left if the light is red at East Ridge Road and Culver because the traffic is backed up down Ridgewood, so you're waiting for the cars to go for the light to turn green. And again, they don't obey don't block side road, but even if they didn't, there's multiple lanes of traffic, and one may stop, the other lane may not stop and not block the side road. Well, I'm always fearful I'm going to get rear-ended while I'm waiting to make that turn onto my street. Ridgewood Drive is already being used for a cut-through for drivers who are trying to avoid the intersection at Ridge and Culver. They'll come up Worthington and come up and try to get out Ridgewood Drive to beat the light, or they'll come down Ridgewood Drive to Culver, to Worthington to Culver to try to beat the light. And now we're asking to put 85 and to 105 more cars out of there at that intersection. There's many walkers using East Ridge Road. We have the people who walk to Wegmans, the plaza, the school. Having an entrance on Ridgewood Drive to Burn Dairy will force drivers to travel north on Ridgewood Drive since the congestion will not allow them to exit safely onto East Ridge Road. The other concerns, in addition to the traffic flow, the lighting of the corner will be excessive for the residential neighbors. Big tankers will need access to fill pumps, delivery trucks coming and going, garbage trucks coming and going, noise level, including vehicles and people, traffic in and out, car doors constantly closing, car radios, especially those with the bass blaring, loud mufflers, motorcycles, car lights shining into neighbors' homes. Many vehicles' headlights do not turn off immediately after turning off the car. Trash near and around the establishment, odor from fuel and trash. Prior to the fence going up, school walkers had worn a path up the hill to cut through the parking lot to go to and from school. I expect once the fence comes down, that habit will continue, and now we have school walkers cutting through a busy parking lot. On my street, on Ridgewood Drive, I have a neighbor who is blind. This would not be ideal to have more traffic down our street. Some questions out to Burn Dairy. And this isn't related to the gas, but are tobacco products going to be sold, and are this within the guidelines of being so close to a school? Another question, had you not purchased the land so cheaply, would you even be considering this place when either side of Applebee's, if you got it for the same price, would you go there? At the last meeting that I attended, Burn Dairy stated that the Canandaigua facility was close to a residential area. What wasn't said was the property prior to Burn Dairy was a Big M market with existing curb cuts. So no curb cuts were added, and it was already a busy, residents who moved to that area did so knowing there was already a busy area. Same goes for the Farmington location. Swap out Big M market for a used car dealership. Neither of those compare to what you're trying to do to our neighborhood. So unlike, there's questions for the board, unlike East Ridge Road, the town owns Ridgewood Drive. Is the town in favor of adding a curb cut to Ridgewood Drive that will drastically impact our quiet neighborhood? Has the town engineering team reviewed the impact to Ridgewood Drive? Why do we think 5, soon to be 6, 24 gas stations cannot? Do we think 5 to 6 24/7 gas stations can support the residents of Arundequoit? How many of us are buying gas overnight? If we can support Arundequoit with 5 to 6 stations, where are the additional customers coming from to support the additional gas stations? How do we get a proper traffic study done? And if any of you lived in this neighborhood of the proposed Burn Dairy 24/7 gas station, can you in good faith say you would approve a 24/7 gas station at this location with a curb cut? I'm all for getting this property back on the tax records and getting some tax revenue, but it has to be a good fit for the neighborhood. Thank you.
Hey, Robin, thank you. You know, and I understand all the concerns. I mean, there is, you know, some of the concerns we're hearing obviously are planning board issues. But the gas pumps, again, is what we're here to talk about. So thank you for your comments, Robin. Be taken
John?
into consideration.
John,
Yeah.
Supervisor, I have a quick question
Okay.
for Carrie, just for a point
Okay,
of
sure.
reference.
Go ahead.
The curb cut that would go on Ridgewood, my understanding is that is a requirement from the state DOT?
Monroe County DOT reviewed the plan that was presented and application that was submitted. And they had comments, I believe, and I'd have to refer to the letter, that it was beneficial for site circulation, for access, ingress and egress to the site. And so I would have to refer to that letter. And if the town board hasn't received it, I can make sure that happens. Typically I'm gonna pause for a moment and share that these are the traffic study is really more pertinent to the site plan review, because again, this is only related to the gas pumps. So I'd be happy to make sure that the town board receives the notification from Monroe County DOT if they haven't already.
Okay, thank you. I would like to take a look at that. Thanks.
Go ahead, Peter.
But the curb cut issue is an issue before the planning board, not before the town board. And I do believe traffic studies are not conducted at one date and time. They take statistics that are generated and maintained by the county that represent all conditions of traffic throughout the course of the year. So people can, even though that's not germane to what we're talking about tonight, and has no influence over the operation of the gas pumps, traffic statistics are not done in July 8th, and that's the numbers that they use. These are numbers that are tracked throughout the course of the year and encompass all traffic conditions.
Correct. In the traffic study, a traffic engineer might go out and do their own traffic count on a given day and time to capture conditions, but they also have formulas that they use to factor in the time of year, whether schools are in session or not. In this case, I think most traffic engineers currently have a calculation that they're using to evaluate the impact of COVID and whether or not traffic patterns reflect what traffic patterns might be in the future as the limitations of COVID hopefully will be lifted over time. So there's a standard set of practices that traffic engineers have to follow in doing their analysis. And our town engineer has reviewed the traffic study, and that'll be something that they'll be providing comment to the planning board as part of the site plan review.
And there are statistics that are maintained by the county on traffic counts that are done for prior
Correct.
projects. And those statistics are used to extrapolate the information that's moving forward. So there are traffic counts that are done for countless projects that is maintained in a database with the county. The county, Brett Penwarden, uses that information as part of what he looks at when he reviews the work by the independent engineer or the applicant's engineer. And that is while they come up with the qualifications of whether the traffic is impacted by any potential development. It's not just a limited, take the Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and traffic count and there's no cars, and that's their statistics.
Okay, Peter, thank you. Next is Sandy Oren.
My name is Sandy Orem, and I live at 20 Salem Road.
Okay.
And this does have to do with the gas station, because I would like to address what Christian Bernal was talking about, the DOT, because I would like to challenge that. The curb cut is so that the tankers can get in, because I spoke with Brent Penwarden, and he explained a lot to me. And he told me that one of the reasons they approved it is because they haven't received one complaint about that area. And I said, well, just because you haven't received a complaint doesn't mean there's a traffic issue at that corner. And so he also started talking a little bit about money, and that was concerning. That has been empty, that lot has been empty, and a business has come in, and I was very surprised to hear that. But anyways, he also mentioned when I said it's going to be very busy and people will be cutting through to Culver, there'll be backup, and I said that there was an estimate of 85 to 105 cars per peak hour. And he said, no, there's not going to be that many people. And if you go and see Burn Dairies, that is not true. They are hopping. And that's because they have lower gas prices, they have crazy deals in their retail, and it's nuts. And so anyways, I called back on Saturday because I wanted to get his name correct, because I wanted to give his name out to people so they could call and complain. And he said, oh, no, don't give my name out. I don't want 50 people calling me. He said, you complain to the town, and the town tells me. Well, when I talked to him, there had been 2 meetings where all of us had stood up and said, that's bad. That's always been bad, that traffic. And no one called them and said, look, there might be an issue here. You might have approved this, but, you know, there's a safety issue here. So maybe we need to look at this again. So he said, okay, well, I'll turn the camera on at the intersection and I can see Ridgewood. And he said, oh, I didn't see a problem and stuff. And I said, well, why don't you listen to these people, watch a video of the last two meetings and listen to people how they spoke about, they lived here for 30 years. But he was not interested. And it's interesting because I spoke to some people who have high schoolers. One is autistic, and he walks to school. And she's very concerned because he lives on the opposite side of Culver. And so if they don't do a curb cut, fine, you know? But I found out they have to because of the tankers. And, I mean, we don't think we need another gas station, but if we could not have the curb cut, that would really help. So, I see a lot of holes in this whole thing, you know, and I read the thing about when it went up for auction, they would accept the lowest bidder, you know, and the whole thing about, I mean, I could go on and on about the tobacco, you know, drug-free Irondequoit, spending all that time coming here with the American Lung Association to try to get that amendment passed about you can't sell tobacco or vaping within 1,000 feet of a school. And that is about 850 feet from East Irondequoit. But it's really hard, and I know these people spend a lot of time. And I just don't think this is, you know, good for residential. And the gas station, we don't really want that gas in our ground right there. So, also, what's the deal about Brewster's? That's on the corner of Whipple. Now, I'm just going to say this real quick. They've got a huge parking lot behind them, and a business thing, and then they've got a field, and then there's Ivan Green Elementary School. And then they've got Julian's Dry Cleaners on the other side. And then about 175 feet behind that is an apartment complex. But Brewster's can only build there if they turn their light, their sign light off, and interior lights off 2 hours after closing. And they're the same zone, C. And there's no house there. So what's going on? That's what I want to know.
Okay, Sandy.
And we love our neighborhood, so.
Okay, thank you. Robert, Sandy?
Robert Sandy, 46 Abington Road. And I understand the board is really here to deal with gas pumps, and I appreciate that. But I will say Burn Dairy set the tone for the mentioning the traffic studies, et cetera. Traffic studies are statistics. I understand that. You can make the statistics read any way you wanna. So I think Robin did an excellent job of outlining the issues of the traffic in and around Ridge Road and Ridgewood. So I'm not going to go through all that. I'm only going to say this, that I've lived in Irondequoit in that neighborhood for 45 years. And in 45 years, I have never once heard anybody say, you know what we need in Irondequoit is another gas mart. And I was really disappointed to hear that you've already approved another gas mart 7/10 of a mile down the road. Okay, I think if this project goes through, you're not only disappointing the neighborhood this group of 4 or 5 streets, which are really disappointing the town of Arundecoit, because you're overdoing, there's no need for a gas mart on Ridge Road East.
Hey, Robert, thank you. Laura Akins?
Hi, my name is Laura Akins. I live at 125 Worthington Road. I also didn't know that I was signing up to speak, but
You sign in, is
give
that
it a
what you did?
try.
Okay.
I'm mostly concerned about the gas aspect of this project. When I moved in, it was a very peaceful cul-de-sac-like neighborhood. I just moved in a few years ago. Dark at night, kids playing in the streets, dog walkers, like has been mentioned. I'm concerned about the pollution aspect of the gas specifically. Light pollution, we'll start with that. So there aren't street lights that go throughout the neighborhood. So nighttime, it's dark, you can see the stars. We know from a health standpoint that decreased light pollution is better for sleep quality and for overall health. Secondly, noise pollution with additional traffic coming through, whether that's traffic from cars that have visited the gas station and are now cutting through the neighborhood to get to Culver, or the refueling trucks coming in, big tankers coming to fill up the gas tanks. That's a concern. That is a noise pollution issue that to this point we haven't had to deal with in the neighborhood, and I would prefer that we not start now. Air pollution. We know that gas itself, gas stations, and also exhaust from cars coming through the neighborhood releases volatile organic compounds. These are reactive gas species that either in and of themselves are cancer-causing, carcinogenic, or can react with other gases to create cancer-causing compounds. And then finally, water and soil pollution. So we know that generally gas stations have a tank underneath and pipes that carry the gasoline up to the gas pumps. And even if these are 100% secure and do not leak, runoff is still a thing. So with rain comes runoff. You know, when you're pumping gas, a few extra drops may fall on the ground. Ultimately, that rinses off with the rain into the groundwater. And that is the water that will be processed to be made more safe by our town. But personally, I have a small garden, a little victory garden, so to speak. And I like to grow some of my own produce for myself and my family members. I do not want to be serving produce that has benzene or heavy metals from this runoff to myself or to my loved ones. Those are my primary concerns. As other people have said, this is a redundant project. We have 5 going on 6 gas stations now in Arundecoit. There are other stores, other services that we could stand to have as a suburb. Just bare minimum to catch us up with where other suburbs are. I don't think that we need to add additional harm when there really isn't a need. That's pretty much it. Thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you. Larry? You last just, pardon me? No, I'm not kidding. Vander Molen. All right, good. Okay, Larry, go right ahead.
I'm Larry Vandermolen. I live at 13 Abington Road, which is directly behind where they want to put the gas pumps. There's so many things I want to address. I'm going to try to keep it to the gas stations, but I've got to say one thing about property value is it's certainly going to decrease my property value, at least in the way that I value my property. My house is a 1924 house. I have a sleeping porch on the back of my house. My sleeping porch will be overlooking a well-lit, noisy gas station. I'll never use my sleeping porch again. You know what I mean? I've spent a lot of money in my backyard. I like to enjoy my backyard. It's nice and quiet and peaceful. I think if there's a gas station there, it's never going to be quiet and peaceful again. And that's really frustrating. Another thing that's frustrating about this is I've been to like 3 or 4 different meetings now, and some of them are saying there is some control over the hours of operation. This one is saying there is no control over the hours of operation except for the gas tanks. It just seems to be, we're getting a lot of mixed messages, and I think that's really adding to the frustration of the people that keep coming to these things. I did a Google search when this first plan came up, and within a 2-mile area, there's already 11 gas stations, and now you said you just approved 1 more. So that's making a nice even dozen within 2 miles. I think the point of how many gas stations do we need is really, really valid. It's really out of control. You can't drive a half a mile on Ridge Road anywhere without running into a gas station. It's crazy. We don't need it. I'm unorganized because I have all this paperwork for traffic, and I thought we were addressing traffic tonight. Who do I address traffic with? Is that the planning board again?
Planning board,
All
yes
right,
it is.
All right.
Yep.
They'll be getting my little color
Okay.
pictures. So, all right. Part of the concern that does address the traffic is the fact that it's like the plan for the cut into Ridge Road or Ridgewood Drive specifically says it's for the oil tankers to be able to go in and out and deliver the gas. It's like those trucks are never going to make a left turn off Ridgewood Road. I can guarantee you that. So what are they going to do? Are they going to go down Ridgewood Drive? Are we going to have oil tankers driving through our neighborhood now? I mean, that's crazy. Everybody has talked about the dog walkers, the handicapped people, the children. It's like, and there's no sidewalks on many of the streets, so people have to walk in the road, especially in the wintertime. It's just so frustrating, this whole thing. It's like, I've got nothing against Burnt Dairy, but a gas station, and I think really any 24-hour business is a bad idea for that corner. And one thing I do want to mention is, and I mentioned this at one of the other meetings, it's really frustrating that a business can apply for all these variances to change the rules. They're not far back enough from the people behind them. They want gas pumps, but residents can't apply for anything. Why can't we have the right to apply for a variance to say we don't want a 24-hour gas station in our backyard? I think there's something missing in this process here where we can come and talk to we're blue in the face at these meetings, but if we had the same paperwork access that they have, when 25 people come in and say we want a variance to say we can't have a 24-hour gas station at this location, I think you might take a little bit more notice. So that's all I've got for tonight. Thanks.
Okay, Larry, thank you. That's it that's signed up. Is there anybody else that would like to speak under this? Sure. Just state your name and your address, please.
Hi, my name is Christine McGuire, and I live at 15 Ridgewood Drive, which is directly across the street from where this is planned to go in. I've heard a lot of talk about the property values not being affected on houses that have the gas station in their, the houses that have the gas station behind them might not see an effect in their property value, but looking out the front bay window of my house is going to be the gas pumps. So I purchased my home in February of last year. I've been there exactly 6 months, and now I have a 30-year mortgage to stare at a gas station. This is not what I signed on for. I have photographs out my front door if you'd like to see what the future of my life is going to be. Looking out at this, where there was a library, is now going to be a 24-hour gas station. It's just not meant to be for this particular community. There's the way that this proposed cut into the roadway goes. The Walgreens is my direct neighbor on the side of my house, and their exit goes out just right next to my driveway. So now I'm going to have gas tankers coming in and pulling into directly across from my house. We have no way to argue this. Besides this, these decisions have been made. So now I feel like I'm completely stuck in this position where who's going to want to buy a house that has an overlook of a gas station and a neighbor of a Walgreens? Where does this put me? Who's looking out for us? Who's looking out for the pollution, for the runoff of the water, like the previous woman was stating, with the runoff of the drips of gas that come down? Well, if that's going to funnel straight down in the grade of the ground and go right into my lawn and right into my front yard and right into I have dogs. they drink puddles. Like all of this affects my life. It's not just, not to mention the light pollution from the gas pumps. From my bedroom window is on the same side of the house as my front door. My front door overlooks this, my bedroom window overlooks this. There's going to be Klieg lights shining into 24 hours a day. There's going to be people pulling out of this gas station, and their headlights are going to be shining right into my front door, right into my bay windows. This is not what I paid for. This is not the community that I thought that I was moving into. This is not what we want. Please consider the people who are living on this street, because we're paying the taxes here. Would you like to see the photo?
Yeah, sure, bring them up here, sure. We'll put them in, we'll give them to Barb too. Thank you.
This is the view out my front door, and that is where the building is now. And then there's the whole gap and a fence where there's this parking lot area where the gas pumps are. So I don't have any, and there's leaves on the trees in these pictures.
Christian, you can hand them to Pete, and then he'll hand them, and he'll send them down to all of us. It's good. Thank you, and then Barb will have them, okay?
No barricades as soon as the leaves fall.
Okay.
Please take it into consideration.
Okay, thank you. I think that's it. Does anybody else want to make a comment on this?
Got hands.
All right, state your name and your address, please.
It's Patty Burke, 122 Worthington Road. Just a couple quick.
Okay.
I'm only bringing this up because the gentleman from Burn Dairy brought it up. 7-Eleven, if you go down Titus Avenue, is there a turning lane? Yes. Can't compare where there's two medians. Put that aside. I just have more questions since you're considering gas station about these oil tankers. So obviously they need a curb cut because they know they can't get in off East Ridge. What are the local state laws regarding these tankers going down residential neighborhoods? Is there any? That's a two-lane road. If there's a tanker parked on the side of there, you're going to be lucky if one car can get around. You're going between 7 and 7. Kids are walking to school. The high school is right there. Buses come through. People go to work. So now you have oil tankers coming down, disrupting the whole neighborhood. And, that's part of the gas station. So I just want to make those points.
Okay. Okay, Patty, thank you.
I just have a question. Can we file an Article 78? About this? Can we challenge the decision and file an Article 78?
The town board can't give you legal advice, ma'am.
We don't need an attorney, though.
The town board can't give you legal advice.
Okay. But it does.
I'll just repeat it. The town board can't give legal advice.
Okay, anyone else?
We have a few more,
You got a few more, okay. State your name, please. Hi. State your name and address.
Look at it, like Beyonce. All right, Beatrice, I am 114 Worthington. Patty's my neighbor. I think, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here.
Okay.
I'm brand new into this whole neighborhood thing. My concern is the quality that is going to be used underneath. I mean, gas is corrosive. We all know that. And yes, we're going to see all this traffic. Yes, we're going to see, smog and all these sort of things. But are there going to be any checks and balances as far as like the soil or any sort of research done on the pollution in the area? Since we're talking about, what are those gas tanks? Like, I personally don't mind a convenience store being there, but my main concern is like my neighbor, where she says she has a cute little garden. What is the quality of the soil going to be like in 20 years? So, and is there some sort of, something to assure that they have to use quality products when putting in these pipelines, or I don't know. And we live in upstate New York, so we're going to have cracks, and, our beautiful snow is going to make puddles, and it's going to get into the soil some way, shape, or form. So what are we going to do about that, just to make sure, you know, our soil's protected. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Stormwater and stormwater management is the responsibility of the planning board as well as the town engineer, and all of those things will be reviewed by the planning board and the town engineer.
Anybody else?
I'd like to say something else.
Anna, right?
Yeah. Okay, I know we're just talking about the gas pumps, but I don't know how we can separate traffic from the gas pumps, because the traffic is going there to get gas. I mean, I'm not a traffic engineer. I don't understand how they could arrive at this, but I've lived in Ronde quite my whole life. I went to Bridgewood High School, Bridgewood Junior High when it was where Wegmans is. I went to Eastridge High School. I live in my current house behind Wegmans for the last 30 years. And you can't tell me that there's not an abundant amount of traffic at that intersection. When I was a kid, I used to ride the school bus, and we would be at that intersection for at least 3 light changes before we were able to turn left to head south on Culver Road. And even now, there's just so much traffic, and it's lessened up because people are working from home, and I'm one of those people working from home, so I don't really see a lot of traffic. But I really think that the traffic situation needs to be in consideration along with the gas pumps.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Adam Field, 54 Abington Road. So I think when you're deciding, is this a good fit for a gas station, for gas pumps, I think one of the things has to be the traffic right there. And I don't see how it's not a major red flag to say, for this location, we have to have a cutout where we redirect a lot of the flow of the traffic through the neighborhood. That right there should be that this doesn't make sense for that location. If the only other entrance is a U-turn to get in there, this is not a good fit for a gas station. We can't redirect the flow of traffic through a neighborhood to make it viable. Makes no sense. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Sir? Ma'am? I didn't see her.
Hello, Jeremy McGuire, 15 Ridgewood Drive. My wife spoke earlier and pretty much addressed the issues with the gas pumps being 24 hours and shining directly into our house. But I'd also like to address, they brought up property values of the gas station down the road. There are no houses like our house that look straight at that gas station. And they mentioned that these values of these houses went up over the years, but did they go up the same percentage as the rest of the houses? I would guess not. That's all.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, last one here. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
I'll be quick.
That's good.
Christine Winter, 26 Salem Road. I moved in, it'll be 5 years this coming April. That site obviously was the Public Works Department. Then it was vacant. And I thought, oh, you know, it's going to be something someday. This is not it. Just not a good fit. I love my neighborhood, and it's never going to be the same. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for your comment. Christian, if you want to just speak anything before we close the public hearing, any comments from the applicant?
Yes, thank you for calling me up again. Just wanted to reiterate to the board that I presented professional traffic engineers report. They are professional traffic engineers. This is what all they do. As one of the councilmen said, they do have formulas that are used by professional traffic engineers. It's not just random bunch of engineers that come up with these numbers. They do look at the county and state counts regardless of when they count as well. This area is below the state standard for accident rate, which is one of the big things as well. That's factual black and white information, right? I'm not a traffic engineer, nor do I claim to be. I've been doing this a long time, but I really never give my opinion. You won't find me giving my opinion. Everything I presented to this board is factual by professionals. Monroe County DOT, professional traffic engineer, director of operations, and Brent's been around for a long time, reviewed lots of projects. He concurred with my professional traffic engineer as well. And actually, you know, made some good arguments as well in there. Okay. In regards to the underground petroleum tanks with pollution, that is all governed by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. I can tell you they are not easy to please. We have 3 inspections actually tomorrow at Burned Areas across the state. They inspect us routinely. We have an impeccable record with the New York State DEC. We must build them to the New York State DEC standards and the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency standards. There's books upon books of installation, checklist, and whatnot that we must follow. It's highly regulated. There is no air permit. We did another project recently. One of the questions came up about idling vehicles, fumes, and whatnot. I contacted the New York State DEC, which I already knew the answer, but the New York State DEC, there are no air permits required for fueling facilities. Again, this is something that's highly regulated. It's much different than 20 years ago. It's the state-of-the-art equipment that's used. I must meet these regulations. Okay, there's an actual license that I have to get from the New York State license. I have to have these pipes, tanks tested on a routine basis. Keep them at my stations, keep them at corporate office. There's 10-day reconciliations that's required for amount of gallons pumped and delivered with tight ranges. I'm willing to mitigate the lighting and the noise. I can handle the lighting and the noise. Okay, I can use dark sky friendly compliant lighting. I think I showed you guys that. I already think we've came a long way with the planning board. They've been making sure that I meet all the requirements. I mean, I can do fencing, I can do trees, I can keep existing trees. Those are mitigating measures that I'm very, very confident I can handle, and I have handled numerous times in residential areas. So I'm very, very confident in that. But the traffic seems to be a major concern. Again, I presented you guys facts. It's that simple. You have reports and facts by professional engineers. I didn't make any of this stuff up. I didn't steer them anyway. So the Monroe County DOT letter was in that package I gave you, that little package I gave you with his comments. So that pretty much will summarize everything.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I am,
I just want to mention that most of the issues that people have brought up are matters that are brought before the planning board and can be affected by the planning board. And with the exception of talking about reasonable, what's the word, not accommodations, but
Reasonable conditions.
on the operation and use of the gas pumps. So every talk about the curb cuts and the traffic and the noise and pollution and light, all those things can be brought before the planning board. You have a member of the planning board that's been sitting here all night listening to your concerns, and I'm sure he has heard you. And he is only one member, but bring all of those concerns before the planning board, which is the better suited agency to affect the things that you're talking about here tonight.
thank you, Councilman. I'm going to have I need a motion to close a public hearing.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. We are, one thing I will say is that, we're gonna have some time to review and discuss, all your public input. We will be tabling the decision on the special use permit for the gas pumps, but rest assured that this town board is gonna take every one of your comments into consideration. We'll take them all into consideration, and, in order to approve or not, the special use permit. So we will be tabling this decision
Mr.
probably till next
Supervisor.
meeting.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yep.
I have a question. Do
Yep.
we have to take a motion for the table?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could get a motion in a second
Yeah.
to table.
that's what I was gonna do after my comments. So I need a motion to table this resolution.
Moved.
First, second. Made a motion? Pete? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you very
I
much.
abstain.
Abstain? Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate all your input. Thank you. Okay, Barb, let me get my,
Okay. Item number 6, authorizing the appointment of a full-time custodian.
excuse me,
We're still in.
we're still, oh, the seeker. Talk to Carrie in the back, she'll get you. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Barb, go ahead.
Okay, item number 6, authorizing the appointment of a full-time custodian.
I need a motion.
Moved.
I need a second.
Second.
I will make a comment on this. We are, this is going to be hiring, a recommendation of Aaron Thibault for the position. Aaron comes to us from the Hilton High School, Central School District. He was running a family-owned business for 16 years prior. He was interviewed by myself, Maria Vecchio, Greg Champion, and Jason Vanette. Aaron will fill the vacancy of the day shift in the library. It's $17.56 per hour, is consistent with the white-collar unit hiring practices. So I need a motion to accept.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 7, authorizing the permanent appointment of a management assistant.
Motion.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Katrina?
Sure, yes, thank you. So this position is permanently, or this resolution, excuse me, is permanently appointing Megan Hoffman to our role of management assistant. A few months back, you put her in provisionally. She took the test and did wonderful on the civil service test, so we are able to permanently appoint her now. Megan has been with us since she was a summer camp counselor at age 18, and now she's stuck with us forever. So we're very excited for Megan to fill this role as we grow as a department.
First of all, Megan, congratulations. And, you waited all night. God bless you. Good for you. So, Megan, you're recently appointed, so good luck to you. Obviously, stand up. We'll give you a little, and you're on board. Thank you. I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Did we first and second?
We made a motion, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Item number 8, authorizing 2022 tax levies.
Motion.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Carrie, please?
Hi there. This is our annual resolution to levy to the property tax bills any unpaid property maintenance charges. You have as an attachment there the total unpaid charges to date as part of the resolution. So this is the maximum number based on unpaid property maintenance charges where work was performed related to code enforcement violations. However, the final number that would be levied could be less, as residents will have an opportunity to pay the unpaid fines before the October, I believe it's 4th deadline. And so so this is an annual activity that we do. These will be levied for the 2022 tax bill.
Okay, and I see that this list is shrinking, Carrie, and this is kudos
Yes.
to the department.
Yeah, so I think it's a
I've-
product of, increased enforcement, education about property maintenance. I think another contributing factor is we've got, because of the booming real estate market, more and more properties are being turned over into to new residents and new owners.
Okay, very good. So I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 9, authorizing budget transfers within the library fund.
I need a motion.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Diana, explain, please.
Yes, thank you. This resolution will approve budget transfers within the library fund budget totaling $60,000, including a transfer of $34,800 of fund balance. The purpose of this transfer is to make necessary HVAC system repairs at the library. These repairs were not anticipated in the 2021 budget. The Library Board of Trustees did meet on August 18th and approved the transfers that are in front of you. So this resolution would just formalize those into the town's budget.
Any questions? I got a motion, I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 10, amending the Arundecoy 2021 Community Development Block Grant Program.
Motion.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Diana, question?
Thank you. This resolution is to revise the 2021-2022 Community Development Block Grant Program. The original award letter that we received back in February underestimated the amount of the award to the town. We did receive a revised letter in May, increasing the amount of the grant by $13,352. This amendment would appropriate that funding to the Arundecoid Home Improvement Program.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 11, establishing a salary for the deputy supervisor during periods of vacancies in the office of the supervisor.
I'm going to stay in here, but Andrew will explain this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Supervisor and the Town Board. This resolution would establish a salary for the Deputy Supervisor during periods when the office of the Supervisor is vacant. So, Town Law Section 42 allows the Town Board to establish a salary for the Deputy Supervisor. The Town Supervisor, when the office is filled, has a great number of responsibilities that then devolve upon the Deputy Supervisor during periods of absence. The resolution is established so that the Deputy Supervisor would not receive a salary solely during periods when the Town Supervisor misses a meeting or is temporarily unavailable, but it would apply during periods when the Deputy Supervisor assumes the role of acting supervisor. The resolution is set up to be retroactive effective September 1st, 2021.
Okay. I'm going to abstain. Any questions?
I do have a question. I know during the workshop I asked about it being retroactive to when John started, which was August 2nd. Has that been decided against?
I think the consensus I got from the board was that the Deputy Supervisor preferred to that the board preferred that the resolution be effective September, not going back all the way to.
I wasn't aware of that, but thank you.
Okay, I have a motion. I have so moved. I have a second.
Second.
All right, I'm abstaining, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? So carried. Thank you.
Item number 12, authorizing the renewal of an intermunicipal agreement with St. Paul Boulevard Fire District.
I have a motion.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Second. Bob, you want to explain this for us, please? Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, town board members. The Department of Public Works has two resolutions before the board for the month of September. The first is an intermunicipal agreement with the St. Paul Boulevard Fire District. This would authorize the department to continue to do work on behalf of the district via a chargeback for a variety of different work, including but not limiting to repair of any asphalt turf, sweeping, reconstruction of parking lots, management of facilities, i.e. trimming of trees, grounds management, snow plowing, etc. We, through time, have had several different IMAs with a variety of different municipalities, the County of Monroe, both school districts, several of our fire districts, and we continue to seek to have relationships with our government partners within the town limits.
Any questions?
No, just a comment. Thanks for doing this, Commissioner Kiley. It's an important cooperative effort, and I think it also helps stabilize some costs.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 13, declaring certain equipment as surplus property.
Can I have a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Second. Any, Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As seen on Addenda A to the resolution, the department is surplusing a variety of different pieces of equipment, a highlight being a 2009 Ford F-350, but the several thousand tons of ground concrete, recycled millings, clean stone piles, a variety of different items. So these will be available for bidding on various auction sites electronically in October of this year.
Okay, any questions?
No, just a comment. I just want to thank Commissioner Kiley. I've been noticing and keeping an eye that you're making sure that the items that we are not using are being cycled out so that we can get items that we can use. And I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 14, authorizing the supervisor or acting supervisor to enter into various contracts with vendors for youth, family, adult, group exercise, and senior recreational programming for fall 2021.
Motion.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Katrina, please?
Yes, thank you. This resolution is a seasonal resolution where we bring forward the names of our vendors that we would like to use to offer our recreation programs. And you can see in Addendum A that it outlines the payout schedule for each of these. And these fees are all paid for, or I'm sorry, these payouts are all paid for through fees by our participants that register for these programs. You'll also see that there is an increase in program offerings in an effort to add programming at the new community center.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 15, approving the special event license for the 19th Annual Sunset House 5K Run and Fitness Walk, October 16th, 2021.
I have a motion.
Move.
Second?
Second?
I would just want to make a comment. You know, this has always been a good fitness walk and a run. I mean, they usually have it, I think, Memorial Day, but because of the situations that were out, I believe I may be there starting the race.
Yes, you are.
I am, right?
Did you
and
say
it's
you're
kinda-
running in the race?
Oh, no, I'm not in the race. I'm starting it. I'll walk to the start line. It's kind of a little special to me. The Sunset House helped me and my family out, so I think the Sunset House, we're very glad to have them in our town. We really are. They do a great job over there, and like I said, I've had experience over there with a loved one, and they did take care of my mom really good. So I just want to do kudos to them, and look forward to starting the race. I need a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Anything else to be brought before the board? Anybody? All good? All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
Moved?
Second? Second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Good evening.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT, Government Access.